right, so our next topic is on midpoint. So this is just a video explaining how to find the midpoint and what the midpoint is. So if we want to find a midpoint, the midpoint means that we're finding the point in the middle of a line. That's why it's called midpoint, point in the middle. Okay, so we're going to be finding the midpoint from a number line. If you don't remember, this is what a number line looks like down here. And so here are the steps we're going to take to find the midpoint. So they're going to tell you, oh, we want to find the point in the middle between these 2 points. So first you're going to find the length of the line between those 2 points. So you're going to have to count how far it is between the points. And then to find the point in the middle, you want to find the point halfway. So what are you going to do? You're going to multiply by a half. If you're feeling super special, you could do multiplying by 0.5, because that's just half as a decimal. And then that's going to give you a number. Once you get that number, you're going to count that many to the middle of the line. So we're going to do 2 examples together right now. So it says, what is the midpoint of AC? So this part over here tells me that those are the 2 letters that I'm supposed to be counting between. So I'm supposed to be counting between A and C. So my first step, I got to count from A to C. Now when I'm counting, we want to make sure we're counting carefully, because when I start at A, this does not count as 1. You don't start counting until you start moving to the other point. So I'm going to start here. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that is 6 spaces between A and C. Okay, so that's my total length of the line. To find how far it is to get to the middle, we're going to multiply by a half times a half, or times 0.5, whichever is easier for you. So 6 times a half, you would either do that in your head or you can type it in the calculator. 6 times a half is 3. Now that does not mean that the answer is 3. That means that it is, you got to count 3 spaces to the middle. So we're going to put count to the middle. Pardon my very ugly writing. Okay, so does it matter whether I start counting from A or C? No, you can pick whichever one you want, because it's in the middle either way. So I'm going to start at A again, and I'm going to count 3. Remember, I don't start counting until I move away from A. So 1, 2, 3. Final answer, this point that I just ended up at is the midpoint. That is the point in the middle. So my answer would be, well, what's the number right there? -1. That is the point in the middle. Okay. Now I'm going to erase this so that we can do the next question, because that was a lot of writing. Okay. So you count, you multiply by half because we only want to go halfway, and then you count that many. So here we go. Next one. What is the midpoint of BD? So I got to find B and D. Here's B. Here's D. My first step, starting back up there. Count. We are counting from B to D. I don't start counting until I move away from B. So here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the length between B and D, from B to D, is 5 spaces. Okay. I want to get to the middle, the halfway point. So I'm going to do times a half. This one you might have to type in the calculator. So if I do 5 times a half, that's going to turn into 2.5 over 2.5. Okay. So again, 2.5 is not the answer. That's how many we have to count to get to the middle. Woo. Okay, so I'm going to count 2.5. Where am I going to start? I'm going to start at B or D, doesn't matter. So I'm going to start at B. I'm going to count towards D 2.5 spaces. So 1, 2, and a half. 0.5 means, well, you're not going all the way to the next number. You're going in the middle between the two whole numbers. So that if I'm not on a whole number, that tells me my answer has to be a decimal. So I need to say, well, what is the number halfway between 2 and 3? Well, halfway between 2 and 3 is 2.5. So final answer, the point in the middle is 2.5. Okay. If you need to rewatch that before you do your own questions, feel free to do that.